Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Anita Lee. It's good to have you with us. In this week's top stories, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taiwan finalized preparations ahead of the 2015 Tzu Chi International Meeting, which kicked off this weekend. We meet a stem cell recipient who has been given a second chance at life thanks to Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center. Lastly, a kind-hearted grocery store owner in Malaysia has enriched his life through helping the less fortunate. The 2015 Tzu Chi International Meeting will convene later today at the Jingsi Hall in Hualien, Taiwan. Prior to the arrival of their overseas counterparts, local volunteers work together to ensure that the event will be one filled with much warmth and wisdom.
我用拖把都是一样，
不一样啊，拖把感觉没有擦到手工的好啊。
Huang Fuzi was at Tzu Chi College of Technology, fulfilling her duties as a Dai mother. However, instead of heading home later, Huang stayed on in Hualien to help with the setup of the 2015 Tzu Chi International Meeting.
四川我去了好几次海南。
I've been to Sichuan and Hainan many times. Each time I visit, our Dharma relatives there put a lot of effort into taking care of us. So now that I have the opportunity to welcome my overseas counterparts, it is a joyful thing for me.
Though over 60 and suffering from knee problems, Ye Yuezhu pushed her ailments aside to travel from Hsinchu to Hualien to help prepare.
I want to seize this time that I can still move about. Who knows when I won't be healthy enough to do anything, and it will be too late then.
A group of Tzu Chi volunteers from Tainan have also come to shoulder a majority of the responsibilities.
We don't participate in large-scale events like this often. We need to take home the lessons we've learned here and actualize them in our community.
These volunteers hope to welcome their overseas counterparts with plenty of love and make them feel right at home during their stay in Hualien.
Established in 1994, the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter focused its missions on medical outreach. Back then, the first Tzu Chi seed in the country reached out to local doctors and nurses to hold joint free clinics. It was later that other Tzu Chi missions such as charity, humanitarian, and education were realized.
The Tzu Chi Philippines chapter is one of the few overseas branches that began because of medical needs. In the Philippines, 1 in every 3 person lives on less than $1 a day, and thus are often unable to seek treatment for their illnesses. Working with local doctors, Tzu Chi began holding free clinics in remote areas. In the past, free clinics were held in simple venues, but now in Manila, Tzu Chi has a free clinic center that has helped countless people receive cataract surgery.
I am very thankful for Tzu Chi's help. If not for Tzu Chi, my daughter would not be able to see again. I believe now my daughter will be able to start a new life.
"21 years ago, a group of affluent Chinese people in the Philippines saw the need to help the poor in the country, leaving their mark on those they helped. Local residents of all ages, race, and religion from across Dreamland Village, Tacloban, Ormoc, and even Zamboanga have been inspired to join Tzu Chi in giving back to society.
Yung tinuturo nila sa amin,
The Tzu Chi volunteers told us that we are all one family. We should not fight and argue. Rather, we should help each other out as much as possible in doing our work.
Through Tzu Chi, we see a love that transcends our religious boundaries, which reminds me of the love of our Lord in heaven. It can be singing Master Cheng Yen and Tzu Chi volunteers that they love others in the simplest ways.
Always there to lend a helping hand, whether emotionally or materially, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to help the disaster-stricken Philippines rebuild and look towards a brighter tomorrow.
We now go to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to meet Tzu Chi volunteer Wen Zhongming, who sells vegetables at the market in the morning and volunteers at the recycling station in the afternoon. Taking good care of the senior volunteers at his local recycling station, Wen buys vegetarian lunchboxes out of his own pocket for them on a daily basis.
In Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteer Wen Zhongming always gives scavengers an opportunity to find recyclables before sorting through the garbage himself.
I used to sort through the garbage twice a day, but now I only do it once. As some of the scavengers sell recyclables for a living, so now I let them sort through the garbage first, before going through it myself.
Instead of sorting the recyclables for money, Zhongming sorts recyclables for the sake of the planet.
Tzu Chi volunteers work tirelessly to carry out the recycling effort. No matter how heavy the workload is, they will definitely finish it.
我觉得他做环保是
He puts a lot of time and effort in recycling. Regardless of how tired he is, he will work sometimes until 9 or 10 p.m. to finish the job.
Wen Zhongming and his elderly mother sells vegetables at the market to scrap by. However, he still gladly buys vegetarian lunch boxes for the senior volunteers at the Tzu Chi Kapau Kapong recycling station.
These senior volunteers are usually in financial difficulties. Since I'm still young and capable of making money, I want to take care of these senior volunteers who dedicate themselves to Tzu Chi. After all, Master Cheng Yen always reminds us to take care of seniors.
天天可以这样子啊。
He buys lunch boxes for the volunteers out of his own pocket every day. Honestly, I am not as charitable as he is. He barely makes enough money as it is, but he continues to be generous to recycling community.
Though Wen's own financial resources are limited, he does his best to take good care of the senior volunteers. He said his heart has enriched by devoting this time and effort to the needy.
Education is an important part of Tzu Chi's mission, and knowledge can be passed on in many ways. In Kedah, Malaysia, Tzu Chi teachers from Taiwan came to help local teachers learn to incorporate Tzu aphorisms into their curriculums. But on the offshore island of澎湖in Taiwan, Tzu Chi's Beichen recycling station is also a center of knowledge that passes out valuable information on conservation.
地球为什么我们要救它呢？它到底怎么啦？
Through an interactive quiz, Tzu Chi volunteers are helping the students of Gendu Kindergarten in Penghu learn how to care for the environment.
如果小朋友你不会折没关系，你把它怎么样？排扁。可是里面是不是有个吸管？把它拿起来。
The school is visiting the Tzu Chi Beichen recycling station to help the children understand that it is not too hard to do something for the earth.
像你们看，你们要拿哪一边拿，然后去丢在回收的桶，拿去那边。
好 ，Grace 往前，丢进去。好了，没关系，等一下。啊，你觉得那是什么？铁罐对不对？你去丢在铁罐里面。铁罐在哪里？
The children of 3 to 4 years old had an exciting day and learned some valuable lessons.
什么东西可以压得下去？
铁罐。
哦，那铁罐可不可以压下去？
爱护地球。
对呀，那爱护地球是要怎么做？
做环保。
The last time we went on a field trip, we introduced the children to the garbage truck and the waste management crew. This time, we want to help them think about recycling, so that's why we have brought them here.
And thus, Tzu Chi's recycling station has turned into a hall of knowledge, promoting the message of conservation. Over in Kedah, Malaysia, teachers who normally stand in front of the podium are sitting down so they may better pass on the wisdom found within Tzu aphorisms to their students.
This is what youth nowadays lack. They don't lack material needs, but love and care.
3 of Tzu Chi's teachers from Taiwan are here to share their insights and exchange ideas with their local counterparts.
I hope to incorporate Tzu aphorisms into the curriculum back at school.
We seem to have given them some inspiration. We hope that they will also think that Tzu aphorisms are great teaching materials and incorporate them into their lessons.
Passing on all they know to local teachers, the teachers from Taiwan hope that local students will benefit from this exchange.
Back in the days, many people didn't know much about bone marrow transplant, hence not many were willing to become a donor. However, to save even more lives, Master Zheng Yan decided to establish a stem cell center, which has given some 3,800 people across the globe a second chance at life over the last 2 decades. Next, we meet stem cell recipient Huang Caithi and learn more about the Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center.
In 1993, the Tzu Chi Foundation organized a carnival at a tri-grand mountain in Zhanghua County. During the event, the volunteers also held a stem cell donor registration drive for the first time, which saw the participation of more than 840 people. The Legislative Yuan abolished the restriction that donated marrow had to come from a close relative in 1993. However, as many people were still unfamiliar with the idea of bone marrow transplant, professors at the Taiwan University Hospital and the Ministry of Health and Welfare sought help from Tzu Chi.
We had to find an organization that could support and promote the bone marrow registry. In the end, professors of NTUH and the Ministry of Health and Welfare decided to find someone that was well respected by society to promote such a cause. Master Zheng Yan was the perfect candidate.
To promote being a donor for bone marrow transplant, Tzu Chi volunteers began to travel across communities with posters about the campaign attached on their motorcycles.
Everyone just left. Only 2 people came to attend the stem cell donor registration drive. Perhaps one of them will become a possible match in the future.
Many people from the older generation believe that stem cell transplant requires the donor to undergo painful procedures to extract the bone marrow.
When we went to find the possible donor, his parents yelled at us and told us not to come back or ask their child to donate his bone marrow.
Despite a rough start, the volunteers' determination to encourage citizens to become a possible donor has never faltered. On their first stem cell donor registration drive, more than 840 people showed up to support the cause. Today, more than 3,800 people have found a match from the Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center.
Thanks to Tzu Chi, I was able to undergo a stem cell transplant and can now live life to the fullest.
Happily chatting with the guests, it is hard to believe that 5 years ago, Huang Caiqi suffered from acute myeloid leukemia. Huang says she often felt hopeless due to the intensive chemotherapy sessions.
I had to stay at the hospital for at least 30 days to complete each chemotherapy session. I remembered having to live each day in fear.
Facing the long and difficult process of chemotherapy, Huang thought about giving up. Thankfully, with the assistance at the Tzu Chi Stem Cell Center, Huang found a match. After undergoing 2 stem cell transplants, Huang has slowly regained her health.
I am extremely grateful. Tzu Chi saved my daughter's life, so I need to reciprocate the organization's kindness. If it wasn't for Tzu Chi, my daughter wouldn't be here with me.
The love and care from Tzu Chi volunteers have helped Huang Caiqi and her family remain strong through this difficult time. To pay the love forward, Huang donated a blood drying machine to the hospital. Furthermore, Huang even promised to become a lifelong volunteer as a way to reciprocate Tzu Chi's assistance.
I want to volunteer on the bone marrow donation team. I hope I can help patients at the National Taiwan University Hospital find a possible match.
Caiqi says she is also extremely grateful to the attentive physician Li Qicheng for accompanying her over the past 5 years.
走过风雨贵为情，不离不弃现真意，悲欢苦乐度岁月，幸得真心燃亮光，并结善缘满桃李，生命价值重新起，用爱关怀皆为诚。这首诗献给我的主治医师李启成医师。
Next, we joined the Tzu Chi Commissioner and Tzu Chi Faith Corps training camp in both Taipei and New Taipei City, where trainees aspire to uphold their initial aspiration and persevere on the Tzu Chi path.
850 trainees make up the 2015 Tzu Chi Commissioner and Tzu Chi Faith Corps training camp being held at the Tzu Chi Central Grounds. By partaking in the camp, the volunteers are preparing themselves to carry out Tzu Chi's missions.
I'm a nurse at McCain Memorial Hospital. I've seen Tzu Chi volunteers who came to visit our patients. From them, I learned that nurturing people's love is important.
心里有爱，然后这个救心的工作才是持续的。
Another trainee, Liu Pingliang, is here after watching her husband quit smoking and drinking after joining Tzu Chi.
I want to join Tzu Chi so that I can follow other volunteers to help those in need.
Tzu Chi trainee Zhang Yuming said that he hopes to purify people's minds.
I'm moved to hear Master Zhen tell us that we should not care about how many donations we receive, but how many people grow spiritually because of Tzu Chi. I hope every Tzu Chi volunteer will work to purify people's minds.
By partaking in the training session, the trainees will be supporting Tzu Chi's mission of making the world a better place. At another location, 79 trainees from Wenshan and Xindian districts joined the training session in which they learn about Tzu Chi's history and philosophy.
After listening to the other volunteers, I have a thorough understanding of Tzu Chi's spirit. I hope I can spread these seeds of love.
I like the saying that Tzu Chi volunteers persevere in carrying out their promises. This is important for me to hear, as sometimes I lose my enthusiasm.
I think I can gradually learn from these courses and eventually become a real Tzu Chi volunteer.
By learning to carry out Tzu Chi's missions, these trainees will one day become commissioners or Tzu Chen who enrich themselves through contribution.
We now go to Penang, Malaysia to meet Zal Kepli, a grocery store owner who is committed to helping the less fortunate. In addition to raising funds, Zal Kepli also brought his family to help build prefab homes for the December flood victims.
In Penang, Malaysia, Zal Kepli supports his family with a small grocery store. To help Tzu Chi collect donations, he has placed a Tzu Chi poster and donation box in a prominent location in his shop. Doing so, he he has realized that Chinese, Malaysian, Buddhism, and Islam can all coexist in harmony. Tzu Chi also brought his family to the prefab housing construction site to lend a hand.
We don't have a lot of money to donate. However, we want to do our best to help by offering our time and effort.
The prefab homes are much better than the tents, as they give people privacy.
Tzu Chi had been working on behalf of the needy even before the terrible flooding in Malaysia last year. He helped a homeless man move into a nursing home and brought a solitary senior's needs to the attention of Tzu Chi.
Later, I saw the grandma and asked her, "How are you doing?" She nodded and replied, "Great, I'm very happy." I used to ask other charitable organizations for help when I saw people in serious need. However, most of my requests were unanswered until I found Tzu Chi. I find a ray of hope and contentment in Tzu Chi because Tzu Chi volunteers truly help the needy.
Through Tzu Chi, both volunteers and members of public are able to put their charitable intentions into action and thus benefit even more people.
Every 4 months, Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu Chis in Johannesburg, South Africa, visit the elderly at the Frank Meinhardt Care Center in Brakpan. On their most recent visit, Tzu Chis brought song and dance that filled the entire care center with life. 3 local Tzu Chis from Ladysmith, who will soon be studying Chinese in Taiwan, also came to give a little of their love and time. It is often said that laughter is the best medicine. A group of volunteers and Tzu Chis are here at the Frank Meinhardt Care Center in Brakpan. Apart from bringing daily necessities, Tzu Chis also brought song and dance, much to the delight of the seniors.
To have your people here is seeing forward. It's like a light in the storm.
When we say in the dining room, the people from the foundation is coming, they say, when are they coming? When are they coming? They are very excited and they look forward to your visit and what you do for us here.
3 local Tzu Chis from Ladysmith, who will soon be studying Chinese in Taiwan, also seized the opportunity to volunteer prior to their departure.
Maybe if they can't see, they are happy to hear music and enjoy, try to participate in what we are doing for them.
The kindness and gentle camaraderie of the volunteers have filled a void in the seniors' hearts, replacing the emptiness in their lives with love. For more than 3 years, Tzu Chi volunteers in Yunlin, Taiwan have been extending their love and support to inmates at the Yunlin Second Prison, hoping to instill in them renewed courage and faith to start over. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers and inmates put on a section of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents, inspiring many inmates to repent for their past mistakes and turn over a new leaf. We leave you with these images at the end of the program. Have a great weekend.